Welcome to the world of Diamond Collector Cards.
I'm McKenna, one of the developers of the Diamond Collector Cards.
And I'm Sean, another one of the developers of the Diamond Collector Cards.
In this video, we are going to give a quick overview of 4 different ways to use the Diamond Collector Cards.
Number 1, Diamond Collector's Game. My favorite way of using the Diamond Collector Cards is to play the Diamond Collector game. The game is a little bit complicated. It's a deck building game that's super fun. We've created a separate video to explain how to play that game.
If you want to learn how to play the Diamond Collector's game, watch that video. But for now, we're going to talk about the second way to use the Diamond Collector Cards.
Number 2, Rock Pressure Match Game. For the Rock Pressure Match Game, you can play with 4 to 10 people, but more than 7 gets a little tricky.
All you need is the rock and pressure cards, so set aside the effect cards. Split up the rock and pressure cards between all the players.
If you want to have a focus for the game, use only cards with red on the border, or green on the border, or cards with blue on the border.
Have players separate their rock cards and pressure cards and place these face down in 2 stacks. Everybody takes the top 4 rock cards in their hand and becomes familiar with the Bible verses written on each. If you have less rock cards for each player, you can modify and make it 2 or 3 instead.
Choose a player to be the first judge. This person is given the purple gem to indicate that he or she is the judge.
The judge picks up a pressure card from the top of their stack, reads it aloud, and places it face up on the table.
All players, except the judge, choose a rock card from their hand that has a scripture on it that they think would be the most helpful in dealing with this type of pressure. Players place these rock cards face down on the table.
The judge mixes the rock cards so no one knows who played which card. The judge turns over each rock card, reads the scripture on it aloud, and then selects the one that he or she thinks is the most helpful verse for dealing with the pressure on the pressure card.
The player of the selected pressure card is awarded 1 diamond, and all cards are returned to the players who played them. These cards are placed on the bottom of each player's rock card stack, and each player draws a new rock card to add to their hand.
The purple gem and the role of the judge are passed to the player on the left. Play continues following these same steps until someone has earned enough diamonds to win the game.
This chart shows how many diamonds are needed to win the game. You can find this chart at diamondcollectorcards.com.
That's the second way to use the cards. Now let's look at number 3.
Number 3, Scripture Memorization Challenge.
For the Scripture Memorization Challenge, players will only use rock cards. Put all other cards away. As many people can play as they want. Just split up the cards to the players.
And split the players into even teams. The game leader stands some distance away from the teams. A leader starts the timer, and the players begin memorizing the verses written on their rock cards.
Each time a player memorizes a verse, he or she brings the rock card to the game leader, who will listen and check for accuracy while the player speaks the verse. Each time players speak a verse correctly to the game leader, they are awarded a diamond, which they bring back to their team.
Players on the same team may share cards and memorize the same verses. When the timer ends, the team with the most diamonds win.
To make the game more interesting and focused, use only cards that have green in the border, or red, or blue. Also, you could have each team work with a certain group of cards, red or green, blue, and then the following time you play, you can switch cards.
That's the third way to use Diamond Collector Cards. Let's look at just one more. Number 4, Small Group Discussions. If you've purchased the 100 card ministry pack, you'll also find included at the bottom of the pack discussion cards. These can be used for discussion times with your small group. These cards can also be found at diamondcollectorcards.com.
For a small group discussion, you'll only want to use one color of card. So find the rock and pressure cards that match the color of the discussion you're doing.
For example, if you want to have a discussion about pressure from God, grab all the red cards.
Or if you want to have a discussion about pressures from peers, grab green cards.
If you want to have a discussion about pressure from authorities, parents, teachers, coaches, just grab all the blue cards.
If you want to have a discussion about internal pressures, you can use all of the cards.
That's because we tend to internalize all those other types of pressures. Once you have the color cards that you want for that week, separate the pressure cards and the rock cards. hand the rock cards evenly to all the players. You want to make sure that each player has around 2 to 4 rock cards.
Then place all the pressure cards in the middle.
Have each person read the rock cards in their hand to themselves to become familiar with their 2 verses.
Begin the discussion by having one person flip over the top pressure card. Use the discussion questions and instructions included to lead your group in a great discussion time about pressure in their life.
That's it. 4 awesome things to do with Diamond Collector cards.
Well, actually, we only talked about 3. Remember, if you want to play the Diamond Collector card game, there's a separate video you can watch.
That's right. If you want to play a really fun card game, learn it. It's really fun. Check out the next video.